All right, so in this video, I'm going to talk briefly about a few sort of big picture advantages and disadvantages of annuity contracts. So one big advantage of an annuity contract is that it can help you reduce the risk of outliving your savings. Basically because you pay some money, possibly over time or in one lump sum, and then if you buy an annuity contract that is for an indefinite period of time, that means you're getting income for the rest of your life. So that can help to reduce the risk of outliving the savings, which is good. Also, it is a method for deferring taxation because the money that you contribute gets to grow and accumulate during that accumulation phase. Until you have received it basically as a payment, it is you're not going to be subject to taxes on it. So you're delaying taxation, so that's good. And when the annuity company rebalances and shifts the investments, if it's a variable annuity, then it doesn't trigger taxes for you. So from that standpoint, you can defer taxation, which is nice. Another aspect that's kind of nice is that it's exempt from bankruptcy, your bankruptcy estate. So if you go bankrupt, the annuity contract is basically exempt from bankruptcy. So that's a very nice thing. Now, typically, individual retirement accounts are as well. So that opens up the possibility that, at what point would it have made more sense to do an individual retirement account and basically use that through your own choices of basically, say, low-cost index funds, because then you can also grow or defer taxation in those accounts as well, but without some of the fees possibly. So that's kind of a thought to kind of keep in mind there, that would also typically be exempt from bankruptcy estate. And also can defer taxation, but without fees. But on the other hand, you have more choices and you have to be disciplined and make sure you're making wise choices with them. Now, in terms of disadvantages, if you've been watching the videos so far that I have in this series of videos about annuities, you might be kind of picking up on the idea that annuities can be rather complicated in terms of what kind of rates they're going to have, what kind of what interest rates they're going to reset to, how long they're going to pay out, what kind of investment options they have. If they're variable or equity indexed, then you've got multiple different ways that those can behave. There can be different features for how it behaves when the annuitant passes away, depending on what kind of features were in the annuity that was purchased. So there can be a lot of different features and things. And so basically, there's potentially quite a bit of complexity with this. And so you really have to do your due diligence to make sure you know exactly what you're getting with an annuity contract and that you're comfortable with all the terms, provisions, fees, expenses, et cetera. And so which brings up the next point, which is cost and fees. You're paying somebody to manage this whole process and to basically take this money that's being accumulated and turn it into a nice stable stream of income. And that is, they're not going to do that for free. So, they're going to charge you fees and things. And if we're looking at a variable annuity or an equity index kind of annuity, well, particularly variable annuities, but some of the equity index annuities, generally they're going to be more fees there. So for the variable annuities, you're making investment choices, which means there's a whole nother layer of fees involved here, where basically you're paying, in effect, mutual fund managers. That's kind of what it is. It may be in-house at the insurance company, but basically they're serving in that capacity of managing portfolios. So you're paying these portfolio managers fees and expenses and things like that, and so they may not be sort of the best cost investment providers. There may be other mutual fund companies out there that are providing index mutual funds, tracking the market as a whole at just a couple tenths of a percent per year, possibly, in terms of fees, so very low fees. So depending on what kind of fees are being charged at the investment level for variable annuities, that could really add up. And also just fees charged by the company providing the annuity, even for a fixed annuity. They could be charging some pretty substantial fees. And so that's something to be mindful of. Also, from a tax standpoint, although you get kind of tax deferred growth, which is nice, from a tax standpoint, everything that's above the basis, so everything that's above what the annuitant contributed basically, is going to be viewed as ordinary income. Now there are some interesting quirks there as far as if it was pre-tax money that was contributed, then that actually affects what's considered the basis. But if we're assuming that if the annuitant is purchasing an annuity with after-tax dollars, then basically the amount that's contributed is basically the basis. And any gains above that are ordinary income. And so you're going to be paying ordinary income taxes on that. Now, in contrast, if you had more of an IRA, generally with an IRA, you're going to be dealing with a situation, particularly in which if you get tax-free growth, right? So for an IRA, you can contribute, pre-tax dollars, you get tax-free growth, and yes, you have to pay tax when you take it out. But what if you did like a Roth IRA? If I did a Roth IRA, I take basically after-tax dollars, I contribute it tax and get tax-free growth, and then I withdraw it tax-free. So from that standpoint, there are some other options from a savings perspective and from a retirement planning perspective that could have some better tax treatment potentially, depending on what your objectives are. Now, obviously, with an IRA or a Roth IRA, if you're just investing in index mutual funds and things like that, well, now you got to manage this and you got to figure out what to invest in. So your returns are not guaranteed, right? So we got multiple points and considerations there. And some people may kind of look at that and think, well, you know what? I just rather would have a guaranteed income where I know exactly what I'm going to get. And so there are trade-offs for that ultimately. So when you're thinking about annuities, sometimes people will try to paint them as like they're phenomenal, they're great, guaranteed income. And there are some nice aspects of that, but there are some disadvantages too in terms of the complexity, the cost, the fees, how it's going to be treated come tax time and so forth. So all those advantages and disadvantages have to be considered when determining whether or not an annuity product is right for an individual. Hopefully this video has been helpful. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.